This episode of the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour is sponsored by the law offices of Alfred Guillaume III, a boutique criminal defense firm located in Washington, D.C. The firm specializes in defending federal criminal cases. You can learn more about the firm by visiting our website at guillaumelaw.com. That's GUILLAUME law.com. Welcome to the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour. This month's featured guest is powerhouse anesthesiologist Dr. Bella Speight. Her journey into medicine is nothing short of extraordinary and is another example of the excellence that we've come to expect from our guest. She is incredibly in tune with the world around her. She's unapologetically opinionated and not afraid to speak up when it matters most. Hers is the story of a woman, mother, wife, and daughter, thriving in a demanding, high-stakes field and using her voice to push for awareness around issues that matter the most for her profession and community. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is an episode you do not want to miss. Welcome to another episode of the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour. Today we are joined by our first non-lawyer guest, Dr. Bella Speight, anesthesiologist to the stars. Let me see, Dr. Bella Speight, MD.
That's right.
Okay.
Correct.
Anesthesiologist to the stars. Not only do we showcase lawyers on the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour, but we showcase all forms of Black excellence. Dr. Speight has been so gracious to grace us with her presence on her day off, okay, which is rare, to the studio at the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour. Dr. Speight, I'm going to call you Bella throughout the interview. I can't call you Dr. Speight because we're friends.
That's correct.
Is that okay?
No, that's appropriate.
Bella, how are you doing? I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for coming, and welcome to the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour studio.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation. Man,
I just, you and I, we share a love of music, and for those who know, every show we go through the crates, we pick out music that is special to the guest, and I'm always excited to see what the guest is going to choose. I had to heavily edit your musical selections, and we're going to get to that in part 2 of our interview. But you'll see when you watch the show on YouTube, when you watch the video on how the diverse your taste is. But I mean, I really had to edit you. I think you chose like 30 or 40 albums.
I love music.
You do?
I do.
And that brings me to a good starting point for our interview. You told me that you grew up in a very non-diverse community, I guess, when you were younger. And that contributed to the musical taste that you have.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, one, the area that I lived in, there were not a lot of other people that looked like me. And so I was often the only in situations. So you have to acclimate to whatever
environment you're in.
The only black person. The only black person, absolutely.
Okay, so
let me be more clear.
Right. Where are you from?
I am from Houston, Texas.
H-Town?
H-Town. I lived in Northwest Houston most of my life, Spring Branch, and then we moved to Katy, which is a friend of mine
area from college. Shout out to Ray Lorenz. Currently lives in Katy, Texas.
It's a nice family area.
You know what? Honestly, though, if I'm being honest about it, I know you.
Please do.
I don't want to.
No other way.
Exactly. I follow her online. I watch the videos, and it does seem like a very good family vibe, but it doesn't seem diverse at all. And the fact that you said that makes me really look at these videos like, wow, okay, it seems. Yeah.
No, it's not diverse. Like, and I mean, your friend, I'm thinking, probably moved there more recently. We moved there in like 1995, and it was still really not developed. There were very few Black people. In my graduating high school of 425 people, I want to say we had 7 or 9 Black students in our class.
I mean, I'm not a math person, but that sounds like less than 1%.
That's correct. I have done the math.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so with that, you have to, you can easily, in a survival mode, lose some of your identity. But what I chose to do is just add to who I am, so I can find enjoyment and I can find a place in any environment, but understood that I was just making myself comfortable.
Right. And that's an interesting point that you raised that I think that we as Black people don't talk about enough. How many times we have to make a sacrifice. And even now that we have children and families of our own, you have to sacrifice, quote unquote, sacrifice the culture, right? What do you choose? Do you choose to live in a place where you get, quote unquote, better education? or do you choose to live in an area where people look like you? I mean, thankfully, you and I both live in Washington, D.C., so there is a very vibrant community. I would argue the most vibrant community.
I would argue.
Of African Americans in the entire country.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear D.C. and Atlanta all the time as the two places where that society, that culture exists.
Meccas.
The Meccas, right? Mm-hmm. And since you throw that out there, I mean, we have a lot of. I went to Howard University School of Law, the greatest place on earth. I know you did not.
Not the real HU.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because I went to Hampton University.
Oh my goodness.
For my master's degree, and that's when I became acquainted with the real HU.
Right. So exactly. So let's get that out of the way. You and I are good friends. Our families know each other.
Yes.
You know my wife.
Absolutely.
I know your husband.
That's right.
But
vacation together.
We're gonna talk about all that. However,
yeah.
The real HU, we don't have to say it. We know what it is. Okay.
I'll be supporting y'all in November.
Right. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing that you have to experience as a child and then as an adult. So you are married. Your husband's a lawyer. You have 2 children, and you live in Washington, D.C. But yet and still, I would imagine you still have to make those same choices that your mom, your parents were faced with in Texas at that time, so many years ago.
Absolutely. As a current Washingtonian, I'm going to claim that.
Oh yeah, I claim it too.
Yeah, I've been here quite a while. We live in upper Northwest DC, and even though DC is known as the Chocolate City, right. I was surprised on my son's pre-K 4, 5 years ago, school tour, when I found out that the school that he was going to was not that diverse. Because again, we made a choice in our home based on the house that we wanted and the neighborhood that we wanted close to where I was working at the time. And now I'm like, wow. So I moved my children and my family. We live in Washington for this diverse experience. And here I go, and I put them in the exact same experience that amazing, I grew up in.
It's an amazing coincidence.
Yes.
That you lived a life. Your mom made the decision for you, and now you were making the same decision as a mom for your kids. And it's something that other groups, I think most minority groups have to deal with a similar type of thing. But for Black people in particular, it's like we've been in this country for a very long time, but yet we still have the same issues that in some respects from the previous generation. They're not going anywhere, and sometimes they're worse. And one of those issues, I'm in the same boat, right? I have to send my kids to a school where I'm looking for diversity. I'm paying for diversity.
Correct.
Let me say that. I pay for diversity, and it's still not as diverse as I would like.
Yes, because here a lot of the public schools the private schools are more diverse than a lot of the public schools.
Correct. My girl's private school is more diverse than probably your public school.
I'm sure.
But your public school is fancy, and it's where all the rich folks live. So
I did not. People keep calling me rich. I don't know what's going on.
I know. That's a joke.
I take it. Manifest that in my life.
Right. I was teasing you about where you live before we came in, and you've done well for yourself, and you should not shy away from your success. And you don't. You don't. And I did
in the past, though.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this is a journey. It's been a journey.
It is a journey, and I want to kind of talk about that journey. Mm-hmm. So, you started off in Houston, Texas. You were in Katy, Texas. You graduated high school. Where'd you go to college after that?
I went to the University of Texas at Austin.
UT.
The flagship institution.
Flagship. I had a cousin that goes. Shout out to my cousin Michael Bozeman, who was a graduate from that school as well.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns. All right. You guys you're doing pretty well in football this year.
Yeah, usually. It's what we do.
So that's a big school, right?
Yeah,
it's a huge school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know
how many. About 50,000 when I was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So that was at a majority institution.
Yes.
You went from a not diverse school to a huge school. Was it diverse in comparison, percentage-wise, in any way?
Well, diversity is such an interesting term these days. And I noticed this as a young person when I would find myself in places like the University of Texas, and people would say, oh, it's so diverse. It's so diverse. And then you get there and you're like, weird how everyone said it was diverse here, but I don't see anyone that looks like me for like miles on end.
And let's be clear, we say diverse, we mean
black.
Black, right. Like people that look like us.
We're looking for the black people.
African Americans, people of African descent.
Diasporic individuals. But many others will try to, it feels like a form of racial gaslighting, if you ask me, say to us, and something is diverse as if they can check the diversity box, but
Right.
they're talking about these people play the oboe, and these people, speak Mandarin, and these people know how to play the violin, and then like we have so many different. And this guy built
Right.
a house. We're not talking about that,
Right.
Yeah,
racial diversity is, if you can have it, I think it benefits everyone. So how was your experience, your undergrad experience at UT? Obviously, you're proud of your school, but how was your experience?
Oh, I didn't know we were going to talk about that today. Okay, yeah.
Was it negative, positive?
Both.
Okay.
It was absolutely overwhelmingly positive.
Right.
That goes without saying. I grew so much as a person, a student, all the things at the University of Texas. Growing up, I used to get you think you're white, you're the stuck-up black girl type of stuff.
From who?
Both. Black and white
folks.
Yes, white people would try to other me. You're different than other blacks when I'm not, and then
It's assuming that we're all the same,
yes,
right?
like we're a monolith, right? Or like that was some sort of bizarre compliment,
Right.
or something like that. You get to UT.
I think a lot of us have dealt with that. I've dealt with that myself.
Yeah, it's a very bizarre compliment. I get to Texas and I find a lot of people like me. So I felt like I was among my tribe. So it was like all of the people that had been having similar experiences. We all
my wife says the same thing about her college experience.
Yeah. So no, that type of stuff went away, right?
Right.
And so that was lovely because we all got each other.
Yeah.
But what I did, and so we had a beautiful black community, and I had a very insular experience at the University of Texas. Me and some friends joked that we went to a PWI. It was 2.5% black when I was there. And University of Texas had never been over 3% black, even with affirmative action in place.
Wow.
At
So
that time.
97% not black.
Not black, right?
Right. What about other races, if you know?
It's diverse. Yeah, lots of Southeast Asian and Asian students. We have Latino students, but it's overwhelmingly white.
Right. So what would you, I don't know if you know the percentage right, but I would assume at least 75%, right? Maybe a little less?
I'd say it was 50.
50? Okay, I'm surprised to hear that, actually.
Just because we do have other,
Okay.
You have black students, like I said, all those other groups.
So about half white and 50% everybody else. But in that 50% everybody else, the African American population is only about 2.5%
to 3 at any given time.
Wow, that's very low.
Yes, but apparently we're stealing all their spots. So you get there, you meet your people. That's lovely.
You met your folks.
Met my people. Pledged the illustrious Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
So you're an AKA.
Yes, I am a member of that. Lovely.
And which is for those people who may not know, is a black sorority, the first black sorority. It's founded at Howard University here in Washington D.C. The real HU. And
Kamala Harris is also a member. Vice President Kamala Harris is also a member.
And your experience, what year were you when you pledged AKA?
Like a junior? Is that what you're asking? Mm-hmm.
So how did that experience change, if it did, your undergrad experience?
Oh, it just enriched it because honestly, we were all just kind of one community. But I will say, as impactful in developing me as a leader and in my confidence that AKA was, I also really got a lot out of BSA, the Black Student Alliance, and I also got a lot out of my the classes that I took in the Department of African American Studies.
Okay, so what did you focus on when you were at school? Now you eventually become a doctor. We know how the story ends. Mm-hmm. But was that your focus in undergrad?
I always knew I wanted to be a doctor. I worked with a doctor in high school. I was in HOSA, went to nationals.
Okay.
Now HOSA is high school.
For those of us who don't know, what is HOSA?
Health Occupation Students of America.
Okay. And that's something you get involved in the high school level?
In high school, yes. So I always knew. Yep, absolutely. I always knew what I wanted to do. You were probably doing like mock trial and stuff when I was doing
not.
That.
I was going to be a Spanish professor, but that's a whole...
Oh, that's a good story.
Right. That's a whole nother... It's not about me. It's about you, though.
Okay. I knew I wanted to be a physician, but I did not necessarily... Yeah, but I can't say I conducted myself that way in college.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to take that one, but did you have anyone else in your family that was a physician?
Oh, yeah. So my family is comprised of like first generation immigrants from Cameroon. And so, I get as a Black woman, so I've had this like multi-identity thing my whole life where I identify very African American. I also live a very African life at home. I call myself a diaspora Black. And they're not mutually exclusive. No, they're not, but I have a very diasporic experience.
But people like to think that they are sometimes. Even people in our own culture like to think that they are. To quote the great Frankie Beverly, we are one.
Yes.
So yes. I truly believe that. And
well, my husband's African American, right?
He
Fifth
is.
generation free, as he likes to remind everybody.
Yes, when I first met him, I think he told me the same thing.
Descendant of slaves,
Right.
very proudly. Foundational Black American, right? So, and I, like I said, I personally, within my heart and my soul, identify a lot as an African American because I've grown up here as a Black
You are an
woman.
American.
Yeah,
You're from
I'm an
Texas.
American. I've grown up here.
But your family is, at least part of them, are from Cameroon.
Correct.
And you have the fortune of knowing, unlike many African Americans, and myself included, where your family comes from in Africa, because we all come from Africa.
Yes.
So this idea of descendants of slaves, and this is a controversial topic for some folks. I don't buy into it,
Interesting.
because
descendants of enslaved people,
Right.
not slaves. So the language does matter. Words matter.
I've heard people say all kind of things, but I think the basic argument is that if your ancestors were not enslaved by the majority culture in this country, people of European descent, then you somehow are not as authentic as others who may come from the African continent, whose families may not have been directly affected in such a way. It's a nonsense argument. We all originated in Africa. Every single last human being, actually, if you want to get really technical about it, originated from Africa. And it's just another tool to divide us as a people.
I really appreciate your position and largely agree with it. I think that you cannot be Black in this country and escape the effects and the continued effects and impacts of slavery and systemic racism and all of those things. In my house, we have a lot of interesting and very nuanced conversations because my husband strongly identifies with his African American culture, history, legacy,
As
everything.
do I.
No, I see.
Right.
And and I identify with it too, but I also have, like you acknowledged, my mother is
Right.
from Cameroon. Your mother sets the tone of your household.
Right.
So when I got married and joined an African American family, while we have so many things that completely overlap and are called different things
Right.
but are the same, there
You are
is
lucky
a difference.
there is a difference.
And I think
Right.
that difference also needs
Your
to be
mama has an
acknowledged.
accent.
Well, not just that, because you cannot exclude the impact of the brutality of chattel slavery. You cannot.
No.
You cannot.
Absolutely not.
Not think about what it means when we're immigrants. We struggled.
Cameroon was colonized.
Yes, by the French.
By the French and the
Portuguese.
English and the Portuguese. What is colonization? Is another form of slavery. What does that mean? It means someone comes to another country where people already live, and their culture is ignored. And the people don't just say, "Okay, I'm gonna speak English now. I'm gonna speak French now. Thank you so much for coming over here." That means they're brutalized, they're raped, they're murdered. It's the same thing.
Great perspective.
So
but the countries are different.
The countries are different.
And when you are in a Black country, we all forget that we walk around with this racism backpack on every single day.
We do.
Until you get to be in an environment like
you go to
Xavier,
Africa,
you get to be in an environment like you go to a
realize you are
Black
free.
country. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're just Alfred, and I'm just
Right.
When I got to Hampton University for my postbac,
the HBCU comparison is
absolutely.
perfect because you're just Bella, and I'm just Alfred.
That's right.
And that's why
I went
we
from
love
Texas to Hampton.
Right.
And I was like, wait a second.
I'm just Bella here.
I'm just Bella.
I'm not Black Bella. I'm not Bella who likes crazy music that quote unquote Black people don't like. Exactly. And every Black person in America has had to deal with those same issues.
Completely.
Whether they know it or not.
Completely.
And we all just need to stop putting ourselves in these little boxes that are unnecessary. And the thing about, I get it. Look, I'm African American, but I also have a lot of Native American blood in my family. We came here on boats, right? And we got dropped off, and just African Americans in general, right? And we had no choice but to form our own culture because we didn't know anything about our ancestral culture.
Correct.
But that's not to say that the person whose family is from Africa, we should have anything against you for that reason.
Completely agree. We're the same. We're together.
Same.
We're all in the same struggle against white supremacy. Because as you point out, colonization is a form of slavery. And I would even take it further and say that the effects of colonization can still be seen in Africa, whether that be through the epidemic that is skin bleaching,
right.
Whether it be the fact that people are fighting each other in French-speaking and English-speaking parts of countries like Cameroon is having a civil dispute right now, and the English-speaking people are being persecuted. Like, these are not our people, you know? Like,
Right.
why are we identifying
together.
so much
There
with
are
these
more people of color in the
external
world
things?
than anything else. No matter what color you're talking about, it's like we're all, you know, to quote Frankie Beverly, we are one. But Bella, you know, we have gone so deep so fast.
Sorry. You know me, Alfred. You know me. I can talk all night.
We have gone so deep so fast. And I know I think it's worthy that we addressed that and talked about that. And I thank you for sharing that part of your life, that you have this other perspective and that you have family who directly, you know, they're in Africa. You guys went to Africa not too long ago.
Yes, last December.
Right, to spend time with your family. You brought your whole family, your husband, you brought
his family,
your children. And I bet dollars to donuts they all had a good time.
It was an amazing time. Amazing time.
I just got back from East Africa myself with my family, and I was fortunate enough to share that with my children. It's life-changing. It's the greatest gift you can ever give for anyone to go to the continent of Africa, any country, and spend some time.
Yep.
And be truly immersed in the culture as an African American particularly, but not just anybody. And when I was in Africa, and I know you know this, there's so many Europeans there. There are people from all different parts of Asia. You know, I'm not going to say only this country, but it seems like in this country, in our country, in the United States, it's like, why would I go to Africa? Many people have that mindset, black, white, whoever.
Well, they don't know.
They don't know.
There's been such a propaganda campaign for so long about what Africa is and what Africa is not.
Exactly.
And because we live so far away from Africa,
Right.
it's not easy to get there. So you just can believe whatever disinformation is being told to you. I mean, of course, I, as a child, was asked all the ridiculous
crazy
questions. Yeah.
To be called an African when I was a child was an insult.
Listen, I was in grad school,
you crazy?
and a good friend of mine, I think you tell my husband that, because he acts like I'm making it up. When I was in grad school,
shout out to Nate Dogg.
when I was in grad school, a friend of mine.
My nickname for those people who don't know. That's my nickname.
She's my friend, and she meant well. But she asked me, I told her my mom was cooking. She's like, what kind of meat? And I was like, girl, snake. Cobra.
Yeah, we eat.
Man, where do you think I'm gonna get this?
We eat guinea pigs.
Exotic meat. Like, I go to the store, they have beef. That's what's gonna be in there. Maybe some swine. I don't know.
Right. It's just so interesting. This conversation that is now occurring in our communities, in the as you call it, diasporic community. It's a conversation that I think is a little silly, because you walk into a store, I walk into a store, whoever, we're going to get discriminated against equally. Nobody's going to ask where's your people coming.
But let's have the conversation, though. You know what? We have been divided and conquered for so much. So, like, I think that conversation is good. Let's talk about it, and let's tease it out, and let's figure out how we are the same. If you don't get it, I'm happy to explain it to you. But like, if you're coming with an open heart to really hear,
I really think
understand.
that you are the perfect person to talk about this with, because you are a person who's from Texas. You're born and raised in the United States. But
no.
You have, what? No? Oh, wait.
Incorrect.
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 Not born in the United States?
I am a naturalized citizen.
Where were you born?
I was born in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, because my parents lived there at the time. Lived in Cameroon with my grandmother until I was 2. And then we moved to England, where I lived until I was about 9, in London, Northwest London.
I forgot the English part. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Northwest London. And then we left Northwest London and moved to Houston, Texas. And then that's when all
my
the drama. American story begins. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You grew up in a colonized world.
That's correct.
As a black person. In England, for purpose of this conversation, is the same as the United States. As far as diversity and who's there, quote unquote, supposedly English, supposedly American, it doesn't matter. We are all descendants of Africa. As I said a moment ago, the entire world is descendant from Africa.
Shout out to Lucy.
I just saw Lucy. No. I didn't see Lucy. Let me tell you the story. Well, it's not even a good story. But the day we were going to go see Lucy is the first, the remains of the first human being, for those people who don't know. Located in Ethiopia, which it's so funny. I'm gonna tell a funny Ethiopian story. Shout out to my friends. This is not to my Ethiopian brothers and sisters, but literally, if you ask them, everything started in Ethiopia. Christianity, Islam.
I know. I mean, they're proud people.
Everything started there.
They did fight off colonization.
They'll tell you that too.
Give them their props.
I give them all respect. All respect due to the motherland.
Shout out to Eritrea too. Because my best friend is from Eritrea.
Shout it all out. Shout out to East Africa. Shout out to West Africa, South South Africa, Northern Africa, all of it. Shout out to Europe. Shout out to the whole world. I love everybody, me. So, Bella, we have gotten. I was trying to get this.
You're gonna have to edit this. I mean, we're not gonna we'll have lots of content, and then you can do what you want with it.
We're not gonna edit it. We're not gonna edit a thing because this is who you are. Uh-huh. But any guest I have on the show is always inspirational to me. If you're sitting in that chair, it means you're inspiration to me.
That's very kind.
It's true though, and I'm biased because you're a physician, right? I first of all grew up watching the Cosby Show, just amazed at the whole thing that the Cosby Show. I can't even put it into words.
Sure, the Claire and Cliff,
the thing,
magic, yeah,
right. And my wife is a physician, right? Mm-hmm. All right, we don't have that. I'm not gonna get on my lawn right now on this segment, but. My wife's a physician. You all know each other. You guys. You are. When we used to watch the cartoons.
She's a dermatologist, which is basically the hardest residency to get into. So let's just put that out there.
Shout out to Dr. Skin MD, my wifey. But you are she's the good angel. You're the bad angel. You guys work. True. You guys work well together. But I, before I married her, I mean, I always admired doctors, but I never knew the struggle, how hard it is to become a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Just for anybody.
At what stage in her education did you all meet?
I met her when she had graduated from medical school and she was in her residency, the first year of her residency, which was internal medicine, which wasn't dermatology. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing people don't understand. For lawyers, we go to school, that's hard for 1 year, and then we party the next couple years, and then we graduate. For you guys, it's just when people drop like flies during medical school.
Sure.
And then you have to get into a particular program that you want a field of, I'm going to call it a field of study, probably saying
yeah, just because you finish medical school doesn't mean you get to be the kind of doctor you want to be. Correct.
And then you have to be accepted, and then you have to train in that discipline and be good at it.
Yes.
And
then you have to take board certifications again.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of go through that a little bit, like in your process. It's so difficult because she didn't have a linear path to medical school.
Yeah, neither did I really.
Yeah, I mean, she graduated from college and then she went to get a master's degree. She worked for a while and then she applied to medical school, but it was a struggle for her. And then once she got into medical school, she did well enough to be accepted into a dermatology residency. But even then, I mean, at this point, we're talking years of your life and you have the dedication that it takes.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you just talk about your experience in becoming a physician, and as a Black woman in particular, how that has been and how?
Oh yeah! Oh wow!
And before you start, I want to ask you a question because I don't know the answer to this.
Alfred, let me take a sip.
Look, no, because in my profession, I went to Howard University School of Law, and I was surrounded by everybody that looked like me. We had it was rigorous, but I was just Alfred, and it was wonderful. But when I got out into and it gave me the tools I needed in the quote unquote real world. So for anybody who says HBCUs are unrealistic, then they're sadly mistaken.
They don't know,
right? But when I got into the real world, I quickly realized that not everybody looks like me. Matter of fact, most do not look like me.
Oh wow, right, correct. We knew that.
And I'm wondering if you had the same experience, and if so, how magnified was it?
So I always knew I wanted to go to medical school, but I didn't have the GPA. Right. I worked like 2 to 3 jobs the entire time I was in college. I also wanted to have like a full experience, right. And so I was not, my
So
GPA
what kind of GPA do you need to have to get my wife is the same way.
It varies. They will tell you. So, one thing about me is I don't let anyone tell me what I can or can't do. That's not up to you. That's up to me. Yeah, I decide. So they'll tell you need to have, 3.8 to 4.0, 3.5 to 4. Wow. And I don't know. I mean, you probably do, right? Usually, if you want to have a nice, smooth, easy road. And so what I'm trying to teach
basically you gotta get all A's.
You just got to get all A's. And so especially in your science classes, what I tell my kids now is like, you can do anything you want, but if you want it to be easy, you're going to do it the right way the first time, which mommy did not do. So, so once I realized I was kind of at an impasse and I needed to make a change in the way I was approaching my future.
So you graduated college and you don't have the GPA. How do you?
I found a post-bac. No,
what's a post-bac?
Never say die. So I found it's a post-baccalaureate degree, and the specific one that I did was at Hampton University, and it was designed as a master's in medical science, which I felt like if I didn't get into medical school, at least I was going to get a graduate degree, and I could go from there.
So that gives medical schools, it shows them what they need to give them
You take a very like curated selection of classes. In my program, we would take like, you know, all the classes you needed for the MCAT. We also did MCAT prep. MCAT is the
I'm going to say law school entrance exam. It's the medical school entrance exam.
Like the LSAT.
Ours is the LSAT. Yours is the MCAT.
So you have to take this exam and get a certain score to get in. So they did like exam prep with us, and they also
got you ready.
They got us ready, and they let us take the sciences again, so that we had an opportunity to show that we could actually achieve the grade and get a higher like GPA average, because you need those numbers to get through all of the barriers to even get your application read.
Right. So even to just read the application, they need to know, okay, this applicant did X, Y, and Z. Now
they can make an A in these classes. I was on the admissions committee later, and I understand.
Okay, that was my next question.
But
so do you think that going to a post-bac program, medical schools look at that as a negative or a positive?
No. I think they actually look at it as a positive if you go and you're successful. Okay. Now, if you go to a post-bac program and you're not successful, because I mean, that's a last chance kind of. It's like it's like another opportunity if we're honest, you know? And so at that point, at least for me, it felt very do or die. And I was like, okay, am I who I say I am? And if I am, then I really was just busy and working and distracted. And when I put my mind to it,
but when you had to focus on it and do just that,
came through.
You did it. And you got accepted to medical school. What medical school did you go to?
I went to the Medical College of Virginia at Virginia Commonwealth University.
Nice. Is that where you met your husband, in Virginia?
I met him in Virginia, but he actually lived in Northern Virginia, and I was in med school at the time. We met.
So you met while you were in school?
At a bar. No, not really. We have a mutual friend, and she and I were out, and he came and met us.
Nice. Yeah. I met my wife at a residence happy hour. My friend was.
Why were you there?
Well, you know what? My friend, who shout out to Dr. Tropez, Jennifer Tropez, my good friend, called me up and invited me to come to this happy hour. And I remember her saying, hey, there's free food and drink here if you want to come. She knows I had no money.
It's a draw. Yeah, that's a big draw.
She said free food and drink.
Yes.
I said, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So when I showed up, that's how I met my wife. I'm not going to tell that story.
Lucky
but yes,
you.
That's how, lucky
Best
me.
decision you ever made. Best free meal you ever had.
What if I said no? What if I didn't?
Listen, you're trying to be too good for that free food?
Right. What if
messed up your whole life?
What if I said no?
You definitely look like 15 years older by now if she wasn't giving you that good Botox at home.
There's no Botox. There's no Botox here. None. No Botox. Okay? But she can't do that for anybody interested. Just hit her up. She'll hook you up. No, but, so you guys meet, and while you're in medical school, what year were you? Not that I want your love story right now. I was
when I met Nate. I was 25 years old.
No, what year were you in school?
M2, second year med school.
Okay. So how is the first couple of years for you? Like before you get involved?
So in my medical school, I get there like by, sheer grit and determination.
Right.
And I'm there first day of school, similar type of lacking of diversity. I think there were 7.
Wow. How big is the class?
185, if I recall. Some people left and came in later on, but we started out about 185.
And medical school is 4 years?
It's 4 years, 2 years of didactic learning in the classroom, and then 2 years of clinical learning.
And clinical means you're actually out in the field, quote
in the
unquote,
hospital, playing, intern, getting some practice before you.
So you're an anesthesiologist
and then testing the whole way
now.
through. Yes, and I was the president of my med school class. I was going to tell you. I have a story for you on that one too.
Give it to me. Let's go.
I got a couple stories. So I told you I'm long with you. Got to pull me back in.
Let's go. How did you become the president?
So one problem, I don't like people telling me what to do. And I really don't like people telling me what I can't do. And so what had happened was I was not going to run for, I have a problem where I find myself in leadership all the time, but kind of accidentally on purpose. So I was not going to do anything.
I don't think it's accidental, but
I was not going to do anything. And there was a legend in our med school, not a legend, it was an actual fact. In our med school, the last 3 or 4 first year class presidents had failed their first year of med school.
Wow. So you became president during your first year?
Yeah. And so it was like a curse. And so everybody was like, the M1 class president was a curse, right?
Right.
There's a curse on that. So I go by one of the offices, and one of our, she was actually one of the people that helped with the Black students, but she said to me, I know you're not running for no office. And I was like,
she said just like that.
Yeah, she's like, because we don't do that. I was like, who is we?
Who is we?
I don't know you.
I'm Bella.
You know how I feel about that.
Right, I'm Bella.
I'm Bella. So who is we?
Right.
I'm a me. So I kind of felt like
Right. So it was a challenge, and then you said,
I think she was looking out for me, but my ego problem, whatever it was, it triggered me, and I was like, you don't tell me what to do.
So you, long story short, you become president.
Did
not fail.
Did not.
Okay. And
could not.
There was no alternative.
I told her, I was like, I'm not going to fail because
right. There's no alternative.
I'm in med school. You think I'm not going to fail?
Right. So
all I needed was a chance.
Right. All you need is a chance. And that's the argument that we make for so many of our people.
Absolutely.
All we need is a chance. Okay. That's it. Just an opportunity. And you took advantage of your opportunity.
Coach.
Right. So you get through med school. It's 4 years. At some point, I know for those, I learned this being married to a doctor. I was class president all 4 years. All 4 years, that's right.
Elected.
That means they liked you. Okay, they like me, Mom. They like me. Sometimes. You're hard not to like. Well, they love you, they hate you. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, that's right. Now that is that for sure.
Well, you're there, and you have to decide what's the next step, right? So you want to be, everybody wants to be a doctor, but there's so many different types of doctors. Family doctors.
You want to know my business.
Surgeons.
Okay, yeah, let's take. So I thought, when I went to med school, I thought I was going to be a pediatrician.
Right. I know how the story
or an
ends.
OBGYN. That's right. I made it out perfectly. But I thought I was going to be a pediatrician or an OBGYN. Got to school.
The doctor for children
is a pediatrician.
Or OBGYN is.
Do you know how I knew I couldn't be a pediatrician?
Baby doctor.
We used to have these lunch lectures where you could go and get the free lunch. There you go. Free food again.
I'm all about that free food.
While you sat there and ate, someone would give you a good lecture. It was great as a first, second year med school. I went to first year med school, went to this lecture. A pediatrician was talking about her job. And she was part-time, but then she disclosed her salary. And it was so low. I was like, you went to med school? Like, you spent 12 years and you're making less than my friends that have MIS degrees. And I know what this costs every year. I was doing the math and I'm like, the math isn't mathing here. I can't be a pediatrician if I wanted to, because I have funded my entire education in loans. I can't afford to be this kind of doctor. And
you didn't have generational wealth.
Nothing.
Helping you out.
Yeah. And I had to, I did have to think about that. I mean, if I couldn't sleep without being a pediatrician, nothing else would have made me happy in life. I would have done it and just been broke. But understand that I didn't feel like I had that option.
Right. And that's the thing. I've talked about that before in the show, that and even in a legal context, many jobs that people might have a calling for or want to do, they can't do. Many African Americans, let me be very specific, because they don't have the backing of their parents, grandparents, whoever, that will supplement their income.
Correct.
I'm in the same boat. I was a prosecutor, was a public servant for about 5.5 years, but I made less than $50,000 the entire time. I had 3 degrees and lots of loans, and I had to make a choice, and I did. And the best choice I ever made. But we had to make these decisions that. And there's no generational wealth. I'm still paying student loans.
And she, I'll even be more open. She said she made $90,000 a year. And I said to myself, while that is a great income, it's not when you have $400,000 worth of debt at the end of your education, easily $400,000 worth of debt. You can't make $90,000 a year, pay Uncle Sam, and also just live, So that to say, and yes, you're so on point, because it's absolutely that. And me and other Black students would have that conversation that isn't it unfortunate that some of us feel like we can't make we have to choose between a passion and a calling and being able to just live our life and reap the fruits and benefits of our labor.
Because nobody's buying your house. Nobody's putting a down payment.
I don't apologize for any of that. I worked very, very, very hard for everything.
You worked hard, but you still had to, even though you realized you could not be a pediatrician, you still had to qualify to be another type of doctor that makes more money, and that requires hard work.
Let me be clear. I did not choose my profession based on money at all. But what I knew was that I could not make $90,000 a year with $400,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, and I think you're the same. Many people would be in the same boat.
Correct.
And, it's a choice you have to make. But my point is, you still have to be good enough to make more money somewhere else. It's not just okay, I'm gonna just do this now. You have to work hard and put in the work and do it. It's not automatic by any means.
So I thought at the end of all of it, I was like, maybe once, going through all my decision tree, I came to surgery and thought I was going to be a surgeon, kind of bossy.
I would be a surgeon if I was good at math and science, which I'm not.
Right,
it's cool.
But I like.
Shout out to David Williams, my main man.
You know
who's a
David.
surgeon.
Oh yeah, you know David
I
Williams.
know David
of course.
Williams.
I know his wife.
Even though I know
wonderful.
her too, right? Shout out to Charity
And
Williams.
David. We were all at MCV
to the Dr.
together.
Williamses.
That's right.
Shout out my
out.
people
Hi,
on this Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour. She's a Howard University graduate. Anyway, that's what.
Yeah. No one can be perfect. So
I didn't say it, Charity. She did.
I love Howard. I'm just kidding. It's just not the real HU.
Okay. Charity, I didn't say it. All my Howard people, I don't know what to say. She's a guest, so I have to just.
Okay, thank you. Be nice. Yeah, I mean, I thought I wanted to do surgery, and I ended up wanting to do I was interested in a very specific type that was very competitive and hard to get into, and I did not match at the end of all that. So
now,
I didn't get
match meaning that you have to be chosen by. Now, how does that work? You should be chosen by the
So with match,
school?
it's kind of like, I don't know if any of you guys know how like the PWI sororities rush, like you basically go on a bunch of interviews, or like a draft, you go on a bunch of interviews, you make a rank list and you say, I want 1, 2, 3, 4 schools. And then all the schools make a rank list of all of their candidates. And then they all go into this machine, jumble up, and they match you up. So you don't know where you're going to end up.
Right. So
you're going to end up.
Right. You were in Virginia. You could have ended up in Hawaii.
Absolutely.
You could have ended up in Florida,
That's
wherever.
right. And then up your whole everything.
Right. So your whole life, you have 4 years. You're in one place, you're from another place, and you could end up in a whole separate place. You have no control over where you're going to end up.
Yeah, and so then when you graduate medical school as a doctor and you start your residency.
You have the doctor. You're a doctor at that point, but you know what? You're dead broke, because I remember that's when I met my wife, and she had no money.
That's right.
With the MD behind her name.
That's right.
I love you, baby. You know you got money now, baby.
MD, mucho debt.
Mucho debt. Okay, not mucho dinero.
Mucho debt.
Mucho deuda.
Oh man, that's so sad. But
no, it's not sad, because you're gonna go do your training, you do your residency, and then, to quote Theo Huxtable, but then after that, Dad, it's Fat City, right?
I could see how it would look like that.
Right. But it's not that simple.
It's not that simple. And I'm not going to sit here and be dishonest and act like, doctors are not paid well. Of course we're paid well.
But you know what, though?
But you have to put it in
before
context.
you even say it,
yeah.
less than 1% of the population has the expertise that you have, that is able to do what you can do.
Thank you.
So therefore, you've got to be compensated accordingly, because it is with any profession, right? Literally, you're putting people in a state that can kill them if you're not careful. I don't know how to do that. Many people, you trained for it, you went to school for it, you did all this for it. Why would you not be paid well?
I've had all the many heart attacks for it.
Right. And the thing is that I was kind of touch on this too. And we just got back from vacation. You guys were there too. And you and my wife had a great conversation. I was ear hustling about medicine.
As husbands do.
Like husbands do. Medicine and money, and the practice of medicine and money, how the two things shouldn't be tied together.
I feel so strongly about this. I would die on this hill. One of the biggest problems in medicine right now is the private equity investment in medicine. And I know this is a capitalist world and we all like the spoils. I too like some of the spoils of capitalism.
Sure,
so
nothing's wrong with saying
right?
that.
But I get that people need to make money and this is all of that. Corporate culture, yada, yada, skip. That said,
right, you have
medicine is not the place for money. Money should never be the decision maker in a medical situation. So if you're a business and your bottom line
is making money, and your
bottom line is your God, right? Like that determines how your year goes. But in medicine, that's not our God. The patient is, you know,
patient,
and
right.
the well-being and the best outcome and the best choices for the patient.
Should I receive one treatment or 1,000 treatments? It shouldn't matter how much money that is going to make the company.
100%.
My wife gets very frustrated.
100%. It should be a decision between the patient and their physician. And if you trust me enough to entrust your healthcare to me, and I say this is what you need. Also, you shouldn't have to worry if your insurance is going to cover it. Right. It's completely absurd. They don't get to decide. I'm the one that's been seeing you, talking to you. I understand your history. And also,
human anatomy.
All of that. How it's going to interact. I appreciate what you said about expertise. I think that as a country, we are getting away from expertise. And I think that would be one of our downfalls if we continue down this road. Personally, I value expertise tremendously.
100%.
Tremendously.
You trained hard for it.
Not even for myself, right? So I like to have a nice life. And so
we all do. We all do.
I want things to be easy and smooth and done right the first time. Okay.
Right.
So if I need something done.
Sounds like somebody I'm married to.
Lucky you. So if I'm going to need something done, I want the best person, the most highly trained, the most knowledgeable.
Right.
That's who I want.
If possible.
If I'm OJ in the courtroom, I want Johnny Cochran. I don't want his paralegal.
You want Alfred
I
Guillaume.
don't. That's right. If I'm Alfred Guillaume in the courtroom,
you want the best of the best.
You. Yeah, absolutely. So I think when we start, so I appreciate that you understand that. And I think, people think of doctors from the 80s with their big yachts and whatever these guys were doing that made all y'all mad. I don't know either. I don't know what these guys were doing. I was a kid. Some of us are like working 60 hours a week and sleeping in twin beds in hospitals where 20 other people sleep because that's how many are taking call with you, and not seeing our families on Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of that.
You have given your life to a cause to improve medical care for the patients that you see.
And it is a privilege.
It is a privilege. And therefore, you have got to be compensated, obviously, for your labor. Like in any other, that's capitalism.
I mean, we pay everyone else.
Right.
I don't know why people don't want doctors to get paid. I'm not sure where that... Doctors should not be greedy, and again, it shouldn't be like the most lucrative thing you can do. I mean, it's not. I could be an investment banker. I could be an investment banker.
Right. I didn't know about finance. I could work for Google.
Come on, there's so many people that make more money than everyone.
Right. There's so many that make more money.
I could be in sales.
Right. Exactly. You make the same or way more.
Yeah. I could be a lobbyist.
Right, exactly. There's all these things, and but I don't think well, at least from my perspective, the public at large does not villainize doctors at all. The doctors are the most. Look, when you get when something happened, when you, like, for example, in the context of you, from my wife, I know we have children, and the anesthesiologist comes in. If that's what you decide to get some anesthesia, you're their best friend. You know
what? I love being an anesthesiologist.
Right.
Yeah. If my first choice for like what I would do is be independently wealthy.
Sure.
But since that didn't happen.
Right. Yeah. Who wouldn't?
Alas.
Be a member of the royal family.
Yeah.
Of
Since
some
that
country,
didn't happen,
right. That'd be great.
I love being an anesthesiologist.
You work hard for your money, and you have to be on point all the time. So how, we kind of got off a little bit, but not really. But just, I really want to get into your experience as a Black woman in that space, and how it was initially, how it's been. I mean, just in general. I know there's probably a lot of stories you can tell, but just, is it a difficult road? Has it been a non-factor? Has it been easy?
First year of I'll tell you this one. First year med school story where we had this little award ceremony where they went over everyone's awards. My name was called a lot because I had a lot of little small scholarships, let's say $250, $500 a piece. That's like one book in med school. So, but my name kept getting called. At the end of the ceremony, this is our first week, a classmate of mine, this guy, comes up to me and he's like, "What'd you get on your MCAT?"
Wow.
I was like, hi.
Yes. Hello.
And I said, well, enough to get in.
Right.
Because
the implication is that you're getting these awards because of your color.
Why are they calling your name so much?
Right.
Like, what was your score? I was like, good enough.
Right.
Like, what's the question here?
And
I'm sitting here with you.
What kind of question is that to ask a person?
Yeah, I mean, he basically, I'm like, are you asking everyone around here what their MCAT score was? So you hear my name being called repeatedly, and you see me, and you have this cognitive dissonance, and you need to understand why am I here.
It couldn't be because your grades are better than mine.
Couldn't be.
It's just because your skin is browner than mine.
Yeah, and
that's the implication,
there's a lot said
right?
without saying. Also, in med school, where I'm going over a friend's house, I really enjoyed their company, went over for a party.
Quote unquote.
Exactly. Went over for a party. We go to the back room, open the door.
Y'all had parties in medical school? I didn't think y'all did, because we had.
Don't tell anyone.
Law school, we had lots of parties.
After our exams.
The dental school had lots of parties, but not the medical school.
No, only after test. Open the door really wide, and boom, bam, slapped in the face with a big old Confederate flag.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, I go get my...
You were in Virginia.
I mean, I'm from Texas. I'm not new to this, but still, it's just never not jarring.
Yeah.
And I'm in my friend's house. I thought...
Don't even get me talking. That's a whole other show about the good old days of the Confederacy,
the Dixie.
Right?
So there's that. Then also another thing that I have experienced, and this may be, as you're meeting me at this stage in my life, people have a lot... We were talking about cognitive dissonance and all that. I have found that people do not like a Black woman in my position. It's very hard for people to, I'm constantly having to tell people I prefer to go by Dr. Speight at work.
So they're calling you Bella.
They want to call me Bella all the time.
Right.
And you know me, Alfred. I don't walk through the world wearing my Dr. Speight badge. That is for my professional clinical life. Matter of fact, don't call me that in Belize.
Right.
We
did it.
Right. And so, but there is a time and a place. And what I'll notice is that, the men are automatically given the moniker. And for me, I have to ask for it. And then when I do, most very recently, I quietly asked a woman why she was calling all the other doctors in the practice doctor and calling me Bella. And she told me I had a chip on my shoulder.
This is a patient?
A nurse.
A nurse, wow.
Told me I had a chip on my shoulder.
A nurse told you that?
Told me I had a chip on my shoulder because I asked her to address me in the same manner that she was addressing the other two doctors in the practice. Right.
That is, I don't know even what to say about that. Because you have to deal with it. It's not only subtle or overt racism, it's sexism. And that's something that women... I live in an all-female household. So,
lucky you.
Lucky me. That's right. Lucky me. But I'm very sensitive to these type of things.
Good.
And it's very disheartening. But just I'm not shocked to hear you say that. Mm-hmm. And my wife has, luckily in her practice now, she hasn't told me these stories in a while. But I know at one point when she was at another place, she would tell me certain stories that are kind of similar to what you just said. And these are the things that women of color, not just Black women, but just women in general, have to deal with, and that men are clueless about. And the thing is that the irony of your story is that the person who was addressing you inappropriately was a woman.
Mm-hmm. It's if we're being all the way honest, I feel like white women are the main offenders here. They are the main offenders. It's like the doctor gets caught in their throat, and then I'll be said things like, "I just like your name." Yeah, I just like how it sounds, and I'm like, "You're not complimenting me. I don't need that."
It's not a compliment.
Yeah, it's not.
Right. You worked hard.
You know what? I'm going to tell you a story. I have told a few people this was the worst thing that ever happened to me as a Black woman in medicine. The absolute worst thing, and it was a catalyst for the life that I'm living now. My life as an independent contractor and just getting out from the machine, because I never want to be in a situation again where I have to eat that kind of dirt.
Tell it to me.
So a few years ago, I'm in the operating room with a surgeon that I'm kind of, we have a collegial relationship. He's a Trumper. I know this. I'm from Texas. I've always been able to talk to these folks. We don't have to we don't have to agree. I know how to have the conversation. All good. That was back in the Bush days. Now it's a whole different game now. So he's a Trumper, and So he's a Trumper, and we would talk about a lot of different things because I don't get easily offended,
right?
And I will go there with you. It's all good. He's like, Bella, I have a story. I have some funny stories. I have 2 funny stories about the N-word.
Wow. So stop.
I'm at work.
Let's stop right there.
I'm at work.
1, I'm at work. 2, we're not the same race.
No, we're not.
And even if we were, I still might say stop.
I'm the only Black person, I think, in that
I think they call that microaggression. I think that's the word for that now.
Well, I don't know if it was micro.
There might be major aggression.
It was micro.
Right. That's what they call it. I don't even like that word.
One micro. So, and this is my story to tell, so I feel comfortable going ahead. I don't know if everybody would agree with me, but so he's like, which one do you want to hear first? And this is my fault, because I could have said stop talking, but it's not really my. I'm like, no, please, let's chat. So I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, one's serious and one's funny. Oh, also I'm at work. Right. There's a patient asleep on the table, so I have to maintain my sense of togetherness and be grounded, right? And he's working. We have conversations in the OR all the time, so please,
right. But not about that stuff.
About many, many things, but it's the operating room. It's a very unique environment. Right. Okay. And this gentleman proceeds to say, I said, okay, tell me the serious one first, and then we'll end on a funny note. Let's see what's up. So he starts telling me the story about how he had gone to dinner with his daughter up in New York, and they're sitting around the table, and at some point Kanye West comes up. And his daughter's like, do you know Kanye? And he's like, I know Kanye. I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Mm-hmm. And then he says the word.
White man.
When I tell you time stopped.
Right.
was like, what?
That was the funny of the series story. I forget. I didn't. Which one was that? Huh? That was the funny of the series story.
Okay. I actually asked. I was like, is it? And he said his daughter was upset. You know, she's Gen Z. She like put him in his place, checked him, told him why he can't say that. Da, da, da. I was like, yeah, you should listen to your daughter. I was like, wow. I was like, you could have told me that story without saying the word.
Right.
Like, we might have been able to have this conversation.
Right.
If you hadn't just articulated that word
Your
in
racism.
my face.
Right.
I'm at work and I'm hot. Like, literally my skin is heated at this point,
I can't
right?
even imagine.
But and I pick up and I'm like thinking like, oh my God, I'm about to get fired today. I'm about to get fired.
Right.
But I was like, no.
You're a full-grown doctor at this point. You are.
This was like a couple years ago.
Right. Yeah.
I finished med school in 2014. So I'm
over
shaking.
10 years ago.
I'm shaking.
Right.
But I'm keeping it together because I'm never gonna you're not gonna see me sweat. No. And I have an obligation to keep my head together in this scenario. So then I'm like, okay. He's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you the funny story. So he's like, so I have this patient. Yeah. He kept going. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely getting fired. I have this patient. And he, comes in for procedures all the time. And I was doing a local procedure, which means like with no anesthesia, just doing something kind of painful to him.
Right.
And he just had to kind of like breathe through it or whatever. And so he's doing said procedure. I'm trying not to give too many details. Doing said procedure. And the patient, he's like, are you okay? Does this hurt? And the patient goes, hell yeah,
Right.
drops the word again. At this point, I fall out. I literally collapse into the seat because anesthesiologists always have a chair. I collapse into my chair and I'm like, all right, I got to keep this together because I can't leave.
Right, can't leave.
I can't do anything.
On the table.
We had about 30 minutes left. So I went off. I was like, I just told you, do not say that word. I'm not.
How do you take that?
Huh?
How did he take it?
He's like, oh, I can't say it because I'm white. I was like, yes.
Yes, right.
No.
The history of violence. And we don't even
What are you talking about? There is no conversation here. There's nothing to talk about.
There's too much. And the fact that the retort that, well, you say it to each other. First of all, I don't say it, one.
Well,
two,
I will if I choose to.
And even if I do, it's not yours. It's not yours.
It's not yours.
Right.
And don't ask me any questions about it. I'm not explaining myself.
Right. And the history and the violence associated with the word. Do we even need to go there? We don't.
Disgusting.
But you know what? I don't want people to think that you have all negative experiences. I know you have lots of positive experiences. I've been in your house. Cha-ching. So
wow, really? Really?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. So seriously though, I know you. I wanted to talk.
I'm married.
I wanted to exactly
dual income. Dual income.
Do you know what a dink is? You're not
no,
a dink.
I'm not a nink. I'm not a nink. I don't have the nink part, but no kids.
Double income, no kids.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out to Ashanti, man. My guy. He is my wife's medical school buddy. Who told me, he's like, you like two dinks tonight. I was like, what? Dink? What does that mean? Double income, no kids.
I don't think I've ever known that life.
He's a jokester. I have.
We were broke, and then we like finished all of our training and education like 15 years later, and then we had kids.
Exactly. So I'm not a dink either.
Yeah.
But shout out to all the dinks out there.
Yeah. I just have enough money to cover childcare and like expenses.
Right. And a yacht that you had.
Please take me there after this. I want to see it.
No, but seriously though, you have a unique story in that your journey ends or is not ended, but it's now in the phase of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship for a physician is always fascinating to me. You are not. You mentioned it in the story a moment ago. You're not tied to anything or anyone. You are an independent contractor.
I am,
and I wanted you to just explain how that functions in your practice of medicine as being an anesthesiologist.
As an anesthesiologist, I carry my own medical malpractice and all of my own licensure. And so what I have decided to do, the type of job that a lot of anesthesiologists generally practice in is very restrictive. If you take
You're
call,
in a hospital, right?
You're in a hospital setting. We take call. You have to staff the hospital 24 hours a day. So that means someone from our department constantly has to be there. There has to be someone staffing the labor and delivery ward. There has to be someone staffing the operating room. And there has to be someone able to staff what we call airway emergencies, meaning if we have to go put a breathing tube in someone because they're having, some sort of emergency where they can't breathe. So we're constantly going to all the code blues. I'm sure you've heard code blue. That's us.
Right.
That's me.
Yeah.
We're also the ones when you're having a baby and you need
so
an epidural. That's
packed.
us.
Right.
And
You have so many different phases of what an anesthesiologist does. You help the moms out with their pain.
Correct.
You put patients to sleep when they have surgery.
Correct.
You do what you just said.
You do pain blocks.
All that stuff. You guys are the bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
I mean, doctors in general are the bomb. I mean, I'm a doctor fan, because I'm not smart enough to be one. So I'm just like, I just admire from afar, man.
You get to bring people relief of pain, and that is a gift, right? So you come in and you're coming with something good. When people see you show up, something good is going to come when you're the anesthesiologist. Pain relief,
but managed appropriately.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are an independent contractor, meaning you're not tied to any particular institution.
Yeah, I work for Bespoke Medical, which is my own company. And as the sole proprietor, I then contract my anesthesia services with anyone who needs them. At this time, however, I am working at DC Plastic Surgery Boutique here in Washington, D.C. on the West End.
Not too far away from the office that you're in right now.
No, not too far away.
But you're on your day off.
Yeah, it's great. And so what I do is with Dr. Kulkarni, she is like a women's empowerment person. You know how I feel about women's empowerment.
I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. She has a for women by women practice. And just
for women,
our
by
values,
women. Let's go.
All of it. Our values just align, as far as how she looks at the patients, what she wants to accomplish, and also just the way she looks at work-life balance. So for me, I've been able to now
You're a mom.
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
a mom.
2 kids, young kids. How you and you have a high stakes job. Probably the highest of all stakes because you're doing people's lives.
Yeah.
How you managing that?
I'm the queen of compartmentalization.
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, I firmly believe that you have to be able to be present and in any situation. You also have to be able to flex. If you're not flexible in this life and in this world, you're going to break, right? With everything. So and that's the same thing with me saying I want to be Dr. Speight at work and I want to be Bella in life.
Right.
When I'm in
I know Bella, I don't know Dr. Speight.
No, you don't need to. When I am in that environment, the work hospital environment, I've done the training. I know the things. I can do this with my eyes closed and half asleep. You have
trained hard.
That. I've trained hard so that it is muscle memory at this point, right? So I am there and that's what I'm doing. Also, when I'm at home, my kids don't understand anesthesia. They don't talk about that. They want me to do a fashion show and a science experiment and all the things. So I want to be able to, I just compartmentalize. I'm this person here and I'm this person here. And that allows me to, and it's the same person, it's just different aspects of the same, coin. So that's how I manage it. I also outsource a lot.
You got to. You can't do there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
You can't cook every meal. You can't clean every dirty drawers. You just can't.
And my husband does not cook. So I cook all the cooking. You
know what? A lot of the dads get a bad rap about that. My wife would say it about me too.
I cook all the cooking. It's
right. My wife would say it about me. But I put some stuff on the grill. I can
don't do that. Can you teach Nate, please? Nate Dog.
I would try to give him some pointers.
Thank you.
We just had a grill fire, so my grill is out of commission right now.
Oh my God.
Which we're fine.
Did you have an extinguisher close by?
No, baking soda. Yeah.
I'm glad you know all the fire safety.
I'm like Fire Bill, man. Shout out to Jim Carrey. But you know what, though, Bella? It's been Dr. Speight. Let me put some respect on that name. It has been wonderful having you here. I really am truly appreciative of you offering a different perspective on this podcast. Not just lawyers come on here. This is we showcase all forms of Black excellence, and you are clearly that.
Well, thank you.
And we just want to thank you so much for coming, blessing us with your presence, talking about your journey, talking about your life. Hopefully, you will come back and we can really get into. We've already had a lot of deep convo. We can come back with even more deep conversation.
If you're not scared, I'll come back.
I'm a little scared, but it's okay.
You're right.
I got back.
That's wise.
My co-creator's in the room. I mean, he's gonna, he's my bodyguard too. So
honestly, it's for you to invite me. I have a very strong personality, and so some people like it, some people don't. Hey, but you have a whole talking thing, and I'm like, okay, you want to talk? We can talk.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Woman power, girl power, everybody power. We love it, man. We love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour. Please subscribe to this podcast. It's available everywhere, including Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. New episodes are released on the 12th of each month, and if you'd like to see the video version of any interview, they can be found on my YouTube page at the Lawyers Hip Hop Happy Hour. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you on the B-side.